Coach Greg, and in today's video, I'm going to be rating people's overall genetics as well as the transformations that they made. And our first transformation, it's done in 2 years. You can see in the before photo, he has about an average looking physique. He's not very fat, he's not very thin, and everything about him seems to be normal. Now, I will say he does not have great chest genetics. Chest genetics, you want the chest to come very close to the center, down the clavicle. So he has a large gap in his chest, and so no matter what he does, he will not have a very full-looking chest. Same as, for example, in the biceps. If you flex like this, and your bicep goes all the way to the end, you have a longer bicep. If it doesn't go as long, it's going to be shorter, but it will, in fact, accentuate the peak. And so whether or not you have long, full biceps, it very much is genetic. As you can see, in 2 years, he's put on a lot of muscle and he's lost a significant amount of body fat. However, you see what I mean? The chest gap, the chest genetics, they're simply not there. Very full on the top and to the side, but he does have a gap in the middle. Now, when I was a teenager, I had a minor pec tear, and notice, you see how there's a hole in my chest on this side in comparison to that? In 2 years, in my opinion, this is a way above transformation. This is much better than most people would do. And you can see by dropping body fat, it made his waist look a lot smaller. He has wide shoulders, and so definitely a very, very good physique. Next, we see the results of an 8-week cut. The man is 29 years old, 5'11", 178 pounds, and look how shredded this guy is. Definitely single-digit body fat. It says lean lens says 11% body fat. I'll start bulking again. Now, what I want you to notice is the loose skin at the bottom of the abdomen. Below his amazing six-pack, you can see the skin is a little bit looser. Someone in the comment section noticed that he had looser skin and said, "Hey, were you ever formerly obese?" He says, "Yes, at 19, I weighed 264 pounds. He's weighing at 29, 178 pounds. And so he's probably over the years lost close to 100 pounds of fat. He has a loose section of skin at the bottom. This is 100% normal for anyone who has lost a significant amount of body fat. It's no different than women who are pregnant. If you are formerly obese, when you do in fact lose the weight, expect to have some loose skin. I very often have people saying, "What can I do to prevent the loose skin? Can I just eat a certain way? Can I just lose the weight slowly?" The answer is nothing aside from surgery. This extra skin that you get from having bulked too much or simply being obese in the past, it simply doesn't just go away. Don't make the mistake of gaining that much weight in the first place, because if you do lose some of that weight, you will of course have some of that loose extra skin. But trust me, having loose skin is a heck of a lot better than having 50 or 100 pounds of excess body fat. And so for me, his genetics, they're about average. And so he did the best with his genetics. Remember, he was morbidly obese, lost the weight, has a single-digit body fat physique. I don't care what the lens says. This guy is very, very lean. And for most people, they would not feel very good with this low of a body fat percentage. He has great-looking legs, great condition, some vascularity in the calves you can see, and an amazing back and hamstrings as well as the calves. And so he's clearly put in the work. And if you're natural with average genetics, I do believe you can look like this. Okay, up next. Well, 1 year transformation, 18 to 19. And so what do I think about this guy's genetics? On the left, at 18 without working out, his genetics are above average. If you're thinking this is a below average physique, then I don't know who you're looking at, because clearly this guy's got a lot of muscle. He has some shoulders, good looking chest, and that's without training. And so in the after, that's very impressive. I'm looking at the obliques, the chest fullness, the delts, the arms. And so although he's flexing in the before and the after photo, it looks like he's a little bit relaxed while tensing his abs. And so he's clearly put on a ton of muscle. He has great genetics. And I think if he continues for perhaps 3, 4, 5 more years, he's going to have a very wild looking physique. And you can see the reflection in the back. He has a lot of muscle, a lot of definition. And so very, very good job. And the number one comment, or well, the only comment, looks like a natty versus enhanced photo. And to be honest, it is possible that he's not natural. It's not so crazy in a year that you don't think that he could have done this natural, and he does have newbie gains. I do personally think that he could have achieved this natural, but it's possible that we didn't. But remember, if you have above average genetics, and you train for a year, natural, I do believe that many people could achieve an even better transformation than this. Unfortunately, if you have below average genetics and train for an entire year, you may in fact put on far less muscle than this. Next up, 6'2", 189 pounds, guessing around 12% body fat. I'm going to put him at around 11. Clearly, a way above average looking physique. Small waist, great conditioning, good looking arms, chest, legs a little bit smaller, but hey, overall, this is definitely a very good looking physique. Unfortunately, he says, energy is feeling low, but I don't feel like I'm lean enough to have energetic lows. This is the bad part about dieting. Once you go below your genetic set point, you're gonna have no energy and feel like garbage. When I cut to perhaps 7% body fat, give or take, and that's on HRT, I also have no energy. I feel like garbage, I have brain fog, lack of motivation, libido goes down, nothing works effectively. And so that is in fact part of your genetics. If your genetics allow you to maintain 10% body fat while sustaining energy, then you can easily look like this. You can go on a cut and diet, get down to 10% body fat and feel good. On the other hand, if your genetics offered you greater number of fat cells, increased hunger signaling and so on, if you drop to perhaps 15% body fat, you'll feel like garbage at 15. And so although 15% body fat is perhaps ideal, for you it isn't, because for you at that level, you feel like garbage. And so remember, how lean you can get is a measure of your genetics. I often get asked, what percent body fat can I maintain naturally? It depends. For some people, it's 6. Rare, perhaps 1 in a million, but it does in fact happen. For other people, it's 20. Unfortunately, although everyone can get shredded, not everyone was meant to be shredded. Up next, our first 18 years non-natty transformation. And so what I see on the left is a guy 18 years ago who was natural. This is extremely good genetics. Look at him while being natural. I mean, how impressive is that? On the right, he's clearly significantly bigger, he has more muscle, and he is a little bit leaner. However, I think he looks better on the left. Hey, I'm just telling you my opinion. I personally don't think that abusing steroids for 18 years is worth it in order to get that transformation. Now, of course, he looks older on the right. Did steroids age him and so on? Maybe, but he's 18 years older. Of course, he's going to look older. But if you took that physique, lost 10 pounds of body fat, got close to 10 to 12% body fat, that could be a dream aesthetic physique for most people. Bigger isn't necessarily better. If you use steroids and or growth hormone, oftentimes you can lose the aesthetics of your abdominals. We saw, for example, Mike Israetel, he talks about having a very large waist. He wants to go through all kinds of surgeries to reduce that waist. But if he would have just stopped using a performance-enhancing drugs, growth hormone, and so on, or maybe just not done them in the first place, his waist would be significantly smaller. Even though he's very, very lean, he's got obliques and so on, his abs actually poked through more on the left than on the right. That is a very common occurrence. You take steroids, it makes you bloated, you look more puffy. And so if you look at his face, in the left, he had more body fat, he had slightly puffy face. But on the right, his face does in fact look bigger. In fact, his entire head looks bigger, which could be a result from taking growth hormone and or steroids. Next, 1 year transformation, same weight. Okay, first off, this is amazing genetics. Wide shoulders, lean, small waist, looks very, very good. He essentially main gained or basically went on a cut and put on muscle at the same time. Now, my personal opinion is I do believe that he's not natural. It doesn't say, and I could be wrong, but the look on the right, it does appear to be enhanced. The vascularity well detailed, and the fact that he's the same weight while losing that much fat and replacing it all on muscle at the same time, essentially gaining muscle while cutting for the entire year, it's very, very sus. I mean, it's possible that it's natural. It's just very unlikely. If it was perhaps his first year or two in the gym, I believe that that would be possible. But after you've put on a significant amount of muscle and you've lost your newbie gains, it is a lot harder to get to single-digit body fat, be big, vascular, and lean all at the same time. I remember seeing your natty to 1 year transformation a year or two back. Seeing your face change from then to now is kind of crazy. crazy. Clearly, this guy has really good genetics. But is it natural? Of course it's natural. And if he showed his blood work at this time, that would give us a better idea, but we'll never know for sure. Gear makes you look older. Please stop what you are doing to your body and face is so unhealthy. It's not worth it, my friend. Is not worth it, bro. What's your cycle? And so it's almost conclusive that he isn't natural. But what I don't see is what they're saying about his face. And so I don't see some of the negative sides of using steroids, for example, the gynecomastia, the acne, going bald. But I do still think he probably isn't natural. If you're interested in working with Coach Greg, of course, I can coach you. Apply by clicking the link in the description. Now, if you have low levels of testosterone, you need a prescription for enclomiphene, or perhaps you need Cialis, telmisartan, you name it, click on the link and use AlgoRx. Go to their website. They have doctors that can prescribe you prescription medications very, very easily for very affordable prices, much cheaper than other companies, for example, Merrick Health. You can enter code Greg for 10% off. And of course, if you want some clothing, go to Momentous Clothing. You can click the link in the description. Subscribe, click the bell button, comment to boost the algorithm. Please like the video if you liked it. And hurry off to get the Seco protein bars. They're softer than ever before. This is the best tasting bar we've ever had. It's absolutely remarkable. And until next time, I am out.